It is a black omen to journey in poor health. You will remain and well rest yourself.
I must object, my lord.
You will obey this my counsel.
But, my lord... Count? You have my locket.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sinister Frame. I'm your host, Ciaran, and with me as usual, sadly, Trevor.
Great to be here as always, Ciaran. You see, I'm spreading the positive vibes, unlike you.
Well, I'm glad you brought up positive vibes, because today's a big day. It's supposed to be a positive day. I know the Eggers household are all waiting around their stereo
Yep.
to wait for this podcast to see if I'm going to be in the Eggers bandwagon or if I'm just going to fucking jump right off.
It's a big day. It's Eagers Day.
It's a big day. He's pretty concerned. He said that he might be pulling from the theaters, depending on my outcome.
Yeah.
So Universal called me and says, "Ciaran, can you get on this?" And I said, "I'm on it." As you know, I had the flu, so I never got to see it in time. So I finally saw it in the theater like it should be, and now I'm here reviewing it for y'all.
I'm sorry to hear you had man flu. Because man flu is very serious, as we all know.
So that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I had toast and water for a couple of days.
Right?
That's what I had. I couldn't.
Were you in prison again?
Yeah. That's probably something from Ofcom or something.
Yeah, that sounds more like it.
All right. Yeah, so we're here to talk Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. You got a pass on The Witch, which is a pretty decent little film. The Northman, well shot but pointless. Lighthouse is one of the worst ones ever produced.
Disagree.
So I'm on the fence with him. And do I chuck him out the window and say, Eggers, good luck. You have a pretty solid fan base. This movie's a hit for you, so you'll probably be okay. But we're going to jump into this one pretty quickly here and talk about Nosferatu. You know, I always say when you do a remake, make it your own. Keep the source material true, but make it your own. They did it very in my eyes. They did it very successfully with the new Salem's Lot. They did it very successfully with the new RoboCop. RoboCop should have been R. It would have really, been better. But they really hit out of the park with the Fright Night reboot.
Disagree.
That they did a couple years back. You've never seen the Fright Night?
Yes, I have.
Reboot.
I have it on DVD.
Yeah, it's just a lie. You're a pathological liar.
What bullshit? I saw it as soon as it came out, and I also bought it on DVD. Yeah. While it's serviceable, it was to me it was pointless, and it'll never touch the original.
Let's stop there.
Yep,
pointless. If you're not going to do something different with the film, don't do it.
Okay. This
is nothing but a copy and paste of the original and the 1979 version. Besides something with the rats and the Black Plague, he adds nothing to this but more of a current atmospheric tone to it.
Well, the rats and the Black Plague stuff are in the 79 and the 22.
There you go. He adds nothing. This is nothing but a copy and paste of the other two. There's nothing of value here. Some well-shot moments, don't get me wrong. The acting is serviceable. But I have never in my life wanted to be bitten by a vampire and be taken, and my life taken. This is the most boring fucking film. 2 hours and 12 minutes of this shit. And I'll tell you what, he has an hour left to show you on DVD when it comes out.
I'll buy that for
Are
you.
you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something. Here's the problem with Nosferatu, and it's a big one. Well, it's two of them, actually. First of all, you could have cut 45 minutes from this film easily. Well, within reason, we'll say half hour. Literally, Ellen Hunter and Thomas Hunter argue about the same thing every scene. And they go on and on for 15 minutes. Oh, but I love him. He's in my dreams. He's in my uterus and he tingles my body. What are you saying, woman? Next scene. Oh, he's in my body. He's in my uterus. Next scene. Oh, he's in my body. And it doesn't stop. And the moaning of this woman for like 45 minutes. Then you've got, the best part, the reveal of our boy, who I love, Bill Skarsgård. By the way, kudos for the accent. It's pretty creepy. Give him that. And he did his job. But who the fuck made Count Orlok an old man, a 70s porn star mustache?
Historical detail and accuracy.
I don't give a fuck I don't want to fucking hear that.
It's true, but it's true.
This, I know that's what he was doing. But it is horrible looking. And it's the most unscary vampire, even over Return to Salem's Lot, where they just wore a mask. This is not scary. This film is getting teetered on. It's like hit or miss. They don't know where they stand. Guys, it's not scary and it's extremely boring. It is, wow.
Okay, quite a rant there, Ciaran. But
yes, because I'm angry. So
why are you angry?
We're gonna jump into this now, right now.
Well, you've already given your opinion, so we could just quit now. You know?
Yeah, good point. Thank you for joining us here at Citizen Frame.
Okay, I would say that I recently revisited the 79 and the 22 versions, and there are subtle differences, I would say, in terms of the presentation of Orlok and generally the stuff about Ellen, with her basically portrayed as a sort of free spirit psychic, that sort of thing, harken back to, I believe, a real life historical person from that period. And there's also subtleties whose name just escapes me at the moment. There's also subtleties about the conflict between, the Enlightenment age and the old ways and stuff, which is more sort of looked into this Eagers version. But it's a beautiful film to look at. I was really looking forward to this, and I have to admit, we'll get to it.
Yeah, so we've got pretty much a low cast, which I like. You've got Lily Rose Depp plays Ellen Hunter. You got Nicholas Hoult as Thomas Hunter. You've got Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. Aaron Taylor Johnson's Frederick Harding. You've got Willem Dafoe as Professor Eddard. You got Emma Corrin as Anna Harding, and then you've got the guy I like to see, Ralph Fiennes. He's pretty much all of his films.
Yeah, he fenced from The Office.
Dr. Severs. So yeah, the movie's done well, and I always like when horror does well. Universal has the international rights and Focus Features. It's one of Focus Features. They're an independent studio. One of their biggest hits, which is nice to see. Universal, nice to see them, getting some of the monster universe back in their pocket. So I don't mind that at all. Oh, Jesus. So the opening scene here, you got Ellen. I fucking don't care anymore. See, is she a young? Okay, is she being?
She is basically psychic, right?
Okay, no. Here's what I don't get. She looks just like she does. Okay, the movie takes place in Germany, 1838.
Yes.
Okay, let's get that out of the way. The opening sequence is Ellen fucking doing moaning and groaning the whole fucking 10 minutes.
Yes.
And Nosferatu's like, I want to blah, blah, blah. And then, is she an old flame?
No.
Or was she 10?
No.
When the scene was shot? How old is she here?
It's not revealed her exact age, but she is younger, and it is revealed later on that she was a child. Although it is more than heavily suggested that she has some sort of psychic powers. But so through her psychic powers as a child, she summoned him. She basically summoned him through, I don't know, her powers or whatever. And so basically all of the events of this film are actually her fault because she summoned him and he took her. So yes, he basically took her as a child, and then it's revealed later on that her father came out and said, this is sin, all this sort of thing. So yes, technically she summoned him, And the reason for everything, all the bad stuff that happens in this film, is essentially because of this opening scene with her.
And the director. That was a good one.
By the way, did you know that
Germany?
Did you know that Anya Taylor-Joy was originally cast in the character?
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I don't care.
Go ahead.
I don't care. So we're in Germany, 1838. Why is no one speaking German?
Well, yes, that's for the sake of the Western audience. Yes, they should be, technically.
Why don't they just set it in England?
Because the 1922 and the 1979 versions are set in Germany during this period. I mean, this is very much a version of Dracula, but...
Let me ask you this. Let's stop you there. I want to piggyback on that comment.
Yes.
Now, we know the famous story about Nosferatu almost didn't get made because, well, it didn't get re-released or whatever because they had to burn all the copies.
Yes. Because
the Stoker family sued them.
Yes.
I'll say this right now. They are completely right. It is Dracula. There's no soul here. It's Dracula.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But why is it allowed to be made now? Did they settle?
Well, it's basically out of copyright. Dracula is out of copyright. The original novel, essentially. After so many years, things go out of copyright. So basically, me and you could make a Dracula film now or write a book with Dracula in it with no copyright claim against us. But whatever...
Okay.
Obviously, this was in the 1920s, and, Dracula was written in the late 1800s, so there was still a copyright on the novel.
Okay, and then once the copyright, they lost it, the Nosferatu 79 and the old copies of the 22 version could come out.
Yes, essentially. Well, basically, the copies of the 22 were all meant to be destroyed, but all of them weren't, and it survived.
Yeah, I know. That's what, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to go with this.
Well,
it's a 6-week journey that Thomas has to take to go to Orlok's Manor.
The castle, yes.
Yeah, and I felt like I was there for 6 weeks. I'll give that. Ellen keeps having these fucking dreams that don't stop. She's seeing dreams of her wedding. She's crying because Thomas isn't there. It's actually Death she's marrying, which is actually probably Orlok. Everyone at the wedding's dead. I'm like, okay, great. This scene will be copied again, probably the next scene. There's a lot of this blah, 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 blah.
Were you just sad that Arnie didn't pop up and start shooting the fuck out of everyone?
Nothing to do with it. If you know what, this guy needs to modernize his stuff. This guy needs to get off from goth.
He won't, but
and his next, we'll see. Rumor has his next film is going to be, but I mean,
he's an obsessive.
The problem I think
detail.
you have. Let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
Or I'm going to end your life now. I'm going to call Count Orlok.
Yeah.
He's going to come and bore you and not scare you because he's definitely going to do that.
With his big sexy mustache.
He's going to tickle you with his mustache as he sucks on your chest.
Do you remember last year I grew a mustache for charity? I was not unlike Orlok. But anyway.
Yeah.
He copied me.
Hey, look, it's resin.
Yeah. But sorry, you were saying?
He interrupted me, so I forgot. I don't know what I was saying. I forgot. What was I ranting about?
Well, there's so much stuff you're ranting about, it's hard to keep track. You were saying that Eggers needs to modernize.
Yeah, he needs to modernize, man. He needs to, it's all the same thing. And it's just, he's just copying and pasting himself. He even uses familiar shots he used before, and that's fine, I guess. All filmmakers have their stamp, I guess you can say, and that's fine. But it seems there's the way the film's cut, there's definitely a 3-hour version. Jesus, I'm never going to watch that. But because it seems like there's a lot of scenes that something's going to happen and then it cuts. Like I feel like the scene in the castle when he's at Orlok's, it's very cut. Where are we now? Is this the next day? Wait, is he still in the dinner scene when he first introduced him? Where are we here? And then there's a scene where he meets these gypsies, and they're going vampire hunting. I'm like, wait, is that a vampire they just killed? Why are they sacrificing a virgin? what's going
That
on
goes
here?
back
And then
to-
it cuts away. He's in Count Orloc's. I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, I can sort of explain it, I think. The stuff with the Romanians, the gypsies, is basically, again, Eggers being obsessive over historical detail and going back to the old legends of vampires from when people actually really believed in vampires, where they would sacrifice a virgin and stuff, and, drive the metal through his heart. Also, my take on the stuff in the castle, where it is quite disjointed and dreamlike, is because, well, basically that's what Thomas is going through, but also the 1979 version with these scenes the 1979 version is very dreamlike anyway, overall, but especially the scenes in the castle. So it feels like almost a bit of a tip of the hat to that version, the Werner Herzog version.
Yeah. I think it's cheat then. And also, I remember watching Dracula, because we're all going to compare them all to the same. We don't have to keep saying Nosferatu. We can compare this with Dracula as well, because it pretty much is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to do that. And when I first saw the 89-90 version, Coppola's version,
yes,
wasn't a big fan of it. A lot of people ripped on Keanu Reeves and stuff. But I just recently watched it. And I'm going to tell you right now, hands down, I think, talk about a change of heart, is I think Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Coppola version, is fucking brilliant. And it's a masterclass in filmmaking, besides some casting issues, which we won't go over. But otherwise, it is just it's visually stunning. I just remember Gary Oldman's bodysuit, which was muscles when he was Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
And then the 79 version with Frank Langella, which is my favorite version, Donna Pleasance, Laurence Olivier, and just scary and atmospheric. In the 79 version, it was atmospheric and great visual effects. Albert Whitlock and his matte paintings, and it was just fucking awesome. I think it's The Curse of Dracula is my favorite one with Christopher Lee. The one I think is the one where he falls at the end in the moat and it's all ice.
Oh, that's Dracula.
I think that's the one.
That's Dracula AD 1972, I think.
Yeah, it's modernized because it's very color.
Yes.
So, but that's my favorite one of that. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, I don't need colors and rainbows and fluffy bunnies. I'm not asking for that. But I want gore, right? I want a scary monster, and I want pacing. What's wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with those three things I asked for when I'm watching a fucking vampire film?
I agree that there do appear to be some, Eggers has basically admitted that there are some editing issues, and it is a bit over long. I think I'm actually going to agree with you. Maybe they could have shaved half an hour of it. But yeah, it's if Eggers is going to be doing something like Nosferatu, and this is a passion project, it's, look at Eggers' back catalogue. It's always going to be bleak and grim and, very much keeping with Eggers' MO. So, you're not going to this isn't going to be Leslie Nielsen, you know what I mean?
I never said anything about that. I think now you're.
No, I know. No.
I never said Leslie Nielsen.
No, I know what that, but I'm joking.
I'm tired. Gary Oldman shined in that role.
I quite like the Coppola version. But actually, I one of the things I didn't, again, it's just personal choice. I'm not sort of knocking Gary Oldman, but I didn't really buy Gary Oldman 100%. I'd have to watch it again. But
you buy this fucking idiot, and this is nothing against, again, nothing against Skarsgård. I like him. The problem is he's misused. He's never really used. He's in the shadows, and when you do see him, he's an old man with a mustache. That's it. There's no monster in this. So let's get that out of the way.
This is a different interpretation, very much a different interpretation of Dracula.
Terrible. Let me ask you this. You were really pissed off with Salem's Lot. You tore that movie to shreds.
Yes.
You gave it a 3 out of 10, which is fucking disgraceful. Now and you're saying this, I was waiting for this vampire to want to come out and put on the biker outfit and join the village people. or go to the 70s porn,
convention
film festival. And this was terrible. And this is the big one. This is I know this is one of the biggest complaints is the look of him. And I'll tell you what now, there's no creepiness here. There's no, ooh. It was like,
No,
wow. When I watched the original one back in 1922, and then I watched the 79 of Klaus Kinski, and then we'll also bring up both Salem's Lots, and you watch them, that thing is fucking creepy. And you watch this, and you're like, what the fuck is this dirty old bastard's trying to get in this young girl's pants?
Yeah.
This is it?
Yeah.
This is what I'm getting? And then when he finally gets his rocks off, let the sun come down on me. And it's just stupid.
Right. Okay. I mean, each to their own. I would say that this interpretation, and again, it's not for everyone, which is proved true. This version is, and again, like the previous versions of Nosferatu, the more famous ones, because there have been several, but the 79 and the 22 is a very different interpretation of a vampire. It's not the sort of sexy sort of type of vampire or the seductive type vampire. This guy is pure.
We're
Let
not
me
saying
finish.
sexy.
You're interrupting me. Let me finish. We're saying,
wow, kitty's got claws.
yeah, oh, yeah, grr.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't do that again. Don't
But
fucking
anyway-
do that again to me.
But
please.
anyway, this version is basically the manifestation of death. He's basically death incarnate. He's a plague carrier, quite literally, with the whole rats thing and stuff. Again, harking back to the 79 and 22 versions. So, yes, it's just a different interpretation. Not for everyone, which is quite clearly the case, not just you, Yeah, I mean, each to their own.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
And just, dude, let's pretend this wasn't directed by Robert Eggers.
Okay, yes.
Okay? Let's take off the Robert Eggers glasses for a moment.
Okay.
All right? This is directed by Jim Smith.
Right.
All right?
Or Jimmy.
Yeah, or Jim Smith, wonderful director.
Yep.
Would you have the exact same feelings toward this movie?
I was overwhelmed by this
the
film.
way he designed Count Orlok. Would you sit there and defend it like you kind of are now?
I get it, but it doesn't 100% work for me, I must admit. So I'm not sort of like here to fight with you and sort of defend it. I'm here to discuss it and try and sort of, give a reason for it, or try and understand it. I think it's effective in some ways, but, it's definitely very Eggers and a very Eggers interpretation of it. And again, that's never going to be for everyone. I do admire the fact that he doesn't sort of, he follows his vision. And this, as I said, is a passion project. Again, I was really, looking forward to this. It was the film I was looking forward to over the last year the most. And I have to admit that I came away, and I've seen it twice in the cinema. And I have to admit, it does look gorgeous on the screen, but being honest, I did both times feel a little underwhelmed. That could be down to me expecting too much in my head. I think there is some. I like the grim tone and the gore, especially the stuff in the castle. Where the coach and all appears and stuff like that. I do love all that Gothic stuff. That Gothic horror sort of aesthetic and stuff. But overall, including the realization of Orlok, I'd be completely honest and say that both times I saw this in the cinema, I have been underwhelmed.
All right. So now with that statement,
Yes.
you can clearly understand that you being Eggers fan, you being underwhelmed is pretty disappointing. And for a non-Eggers fan, you understand why they'd fucking hate this.
Yes, I do understand that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to. Now,
I'm not here
listen,
to argue for the sake of argument.
Listen, no, don't try to let the listening audience know that I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to blah blah. No, stop it. We're here to argue. Fuck off. And I'll tell you right now, you're blind as hell if you got anything from this film. Now, I'm classy. I'm a classy person. Okay, I'm classy. I've got some positives.
Right? Eggers will be clutching at these.
No, they're actually good. You mentioned one scene.
Go ahead.
It's a beautiful. He knows how to use a camera and where to place a camera. And I think he uses the same DP for most of his stuff. The scene where after the stupid virgin thing, what the fuck happened there? He walks down this trail of trees, this tunnel of trees, I guess you can say, and then from the shadows you see the horse and carriage coming.
Yeah.
And it's done with no sound, but you see it coming out of the fog. And then as it gets louder and louder, and then it disappears, and it's right at him. And there's a shot where the door opens and he's walking toward the door to obviously get into the carriage. And then we see from inside the carriage, he starts just floating into it.
Yes.
rather than walking. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy. I enjoyed that. And it does have plenty of that going for it. I do like the sequences in the castle. I think Bill Skarsgård's performance, his accent's really cool, really thickens it up, and it's very sinister. And it does sound like an old, decrepit man talking with a sinister tone to it. It's quite creepy. Again, and kudos for what he had to work with. And I think Orlok works better in the shadows than he does when he's revealed.
Yes. Yeah. Fair enough.
I like the fact that they deal with it would be the Demeter, the ship that brought
not Demeter.
Dracula over, but they deal with what happened to that. They show you the guys getting it and the plague being brought onto the boat, and it's being carried over. That's why he's bringing the Black Plague to this town. And so I do like that. They showed that journey. You know, I always like my how to get to see. Well, they showed you be. And so I like that. But what I'm giving it passes on is very far and few between. It can't be forgiven with the editing issues, especially like you even mentioned in the castle. The castle was probably the best sequence of events. Him trying to get back to her from the castle, and him trying to get back to her, and Orlok's travels to Germany is the best part of the film. It's where there's more tension because Thomas has got to get back there to warn them, and he's getting back there on the ship. So it's one of those kind of chase sequences, I guess you can say, and it does work, but the editing issues in this castle scene are horrific. I had no idea what we're at here and where we're going and who's doing what. And he had some wolves in there that were poorly CGI'd in there, just as throw-ins. It's like,
they were real wolves. According to Nicholas Hoult, they were real wolves. Because I think one there bit him or something.
You mean real wolves?
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
No, you didn't. You said werewolves.
I said real wolves.
You said werewolves.
Listen back to it. No,
I am going to listen back to it.
I used to be a werewolf, but I'm all right now.
I can see it now. Hey, Nicholas, sit in the corner. Don't worry about it. We have some werewolves come at you. Oh, okay.
Well, that would have been... I would put him past Eggers. He's that much attention to detail. But anyway... No, I mean, there are editing issues here overall, I think. Where we should have got more, we get too much in other scenes, like a lot of the the talking scenes, let's just say, where basically they're arguing as a couple and stuff.
That's the whole film.
I would have liked to have seen more of Defoe.
That's another character I don't get. My favorite character was Dr. Seavers. Dr. Seavers was, and I like
Harding.
Aaron Johnson. I like actually all the characters are decent. I like Knock, who went fucking batshit crazy, who's kind of like the Renfield.
Yes.
I do like some of his scenes, but again, he disappears. And then he shows up at the very end in Orlok's coffin.
Yes.
What? Oh, surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's to do with Defoe's plan, where Defoe knows that the only way to kill Orlok is through Ellen, because she's pure of heart. So basically, it's Defoe's character has basically tricked them all, and they find that out at the end, because he knows that the only way... He's an alchemist, and, he's into the occult and stuff. And again, it goes against the sort of, the enlightened age of sort of, Finchy from The Office, basically. There's that sort of conflict there. But, yeah, I would have liked to have seen more of Defoe, and I would have liked to have seen him be a bit more unhinged, actually.
Well, that wouldn't make sense to me then. You already got one character unhinged, which is Knock. And so you can't do that. But that's the problem I have with the Defoe character. He's miswritten. And this is not Defoe's problem. So you have the two best characters. They're all decent enough, like I said, but there's the professor, which is Defoe, and Seavers, which is
Doctor
Ralph.
Yes.
And those two are my favorite characters. I like watching them on screen. And so at the end, he brings him to the coffin. They open the coffin. It's a lie. There's fucking Renfield, and they stab him. He dies. Whatever. The end.
Yes.
But here's Defoe's plan was to lead them away from Ellen, because he knows Ellen has to pretty much die, because once Dracula or Orlok, whatever the fuck we'll call him, 70s porn star, sucks on her chest, because she's so pure of heart, he's going to die. The sun comes up, he dies. Is that was the point of Defoe, right?
Yeah, essentially, he read it in the book as well. Don't forget. And also, yes. But basically, well, it's all the stuff about when the cock crows, because it's basically, the addiction of Nosferatu is Ellen. He's obsessed with her, like a lot of the characters in here. Not just obsessed with Ellen, obsessed with certain things, but Orlok is completely obsessed with Ellen, so he won't be able to resist her blood once he starts sucking it, even though the sun's about to come up and the cock's about to crow. Not the only cock that we see in this, by the way.
Yeah. So what you're saying is he wanted to get it on. That was more important than the sun coming down on him.
He couldn't resist. Yeah. Essentially,
he wanted something else to go down on him.
Yeah, well, with his big cock crowing. Anyway, yeah, but that again ties in with the 22 and 79 versions. That's how he's defeated.
Yeah, but and that's great. But I mean,
I was underwhelmed. Like I say,
Yeah, it's just. I'll never watch this again. Won't even think about it.
Out of all,
and it's too bad.
Yeah.
It's
out of all of Eager's films, I would place number 1, The Lighthouse, number 2, The Witch, then this, and then The Northman. Well, The Northman's entertaining, but it's a simple revenge story. But so maybe tied in number 3 with this and The Northman, but definitely The Lighthouse number 1 and The Witch number 2. I would say, and if I'm completely honest, I don't think this remake of Nosferatu was necessary.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It would have been this. I mean, it's not necessarily necessary. If you're going to do something, do it differently. Don't give us the same shit. And he did.
Yeah.
But he made it longer.
Well, he made it
very much. And here's the problem. And the tone thing. You use that whole goth is boring, and it's just.
I didn't say that. I didn't say goth is boring.
No. I'm saying you have this feeling. Goth is supposed to be atmospheric.
Yes, of course
and
it has.
You're supposed to sit there and want to hang yourself because that's what it is.
Yes, pretty much.
Atmospheric. Fuck that. That's boring. That's just like, I'm going to do a goth movie because suckers like Trevor are going to go, oh, I get it because of the atmosphere. And he's just going to be a lazy bastard and put out a fucking handlebar mustache on Dracula, and you guys are gonna go, oh my god, I saw the cloud lining.
So what would you prefer? Something like, we're gonna do Chucky next. Would you prefer the tone of Chucky? Bride of Chucky?
No, I gave you two. I gave you the original Salem's Lot. The new Salem's Lot's far 100 times better than this. And I gave you Fright Nights. I gave you
the original Fright Nights
Dracula. I gave you Coppola. I gave you Christopher Lee. I mean, I gave you plenty of. But there's nothing here that pops. You have to lure people in. And when you're having a movie that's pretty much just a girl getting up and shaking her body all over the bed, going, he wants my uterus, whatever the fuck, and then he's fucking sitting in a castle going, blah, blah, with his fucking fingers flicking, and it's like, where are we going here, people?
What you're saying.
To get to point A to point C, you got to give us a B. And he does that. But oh my God, that B is so fucking boring. All it is her screaming, I want him, but I'm in love with Thomas, but I want him. I'm in love with Thomas. Every fucking scene.
Right. You could have played the Ellen character. That would have been interesting.
That would have been good.
Yeah. That would have been a change of tone, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you're saying, and I have my own issues with it. But if you're going to do Gothic horror and a remake of Nosferatu, there has to be that type of atmosphere. You know what I mean?
You could do that atmosphere by about 40 minutes less.
Yeah, I do agree that it's too long.
It's way too long.
Yeah.
There's actually a point where I looked, and as we're getting to the finale, right?
Yes.
There's 25 minutes left. I'm like, oh, Jesus, there's 25 minutes left of this crap. But it's starting to pick up. Finally, it only took 5 days. So they're running to stab Orlok while Ellen's left alone. That makes sense.
No, that's a trick to photos.
So why did they leave her alone?
Because that was Defoe tricked them. into basically, that's what I was saying earlier. Basically, Defoe is the guy who knows the only way he can be defeated is through Ellen. But so to get them
but
offside,
why did all of the men leave Ellen alone? Why did one just stay? Common sense.
Because Defoe convinces him to go out vampire hunting with him, even though he's lying. So he does. Don't forget, there's a conversation as well. You know, whenever they drop Defoe off at his house in the taxi, where Defoe walks Ellen up to her door, and they basically agree. The two of them agree. This is a self-sacrifice from Ellen. I mean, we like her talking about her story arcs on here. The greatest arc here is Ellen's, where it's a self-sacrifice arc, where she realizes she must, with her and Defoe's chat, they agree that she must sacrifice herself. Now, obviously, Thomas, her husband, and Harding aren't going to allow that to happen if they knew it was going to happen. So they'd be waiting there with their, their stakes or their metal stakes or whatever, like the gypsies earlier. But so that's why Defoe tricks them for the greater good. And Ellen's in on it, by the way. So there you go.
So when he's sucking on her chest,
yes,
and he can't stop,
yes,
because her blood's pure,
yes.
I love when you hear the rooster roosting.
Yeah, well.
And he looks up, he's like, oh, fucking shit. See, that would have been good. If he looked up and go, oh, fuck, man.
But it's a brilliant death scene. With all the blood coming out the eyes and stuff. And, you can see, like, the back of his throat.
Brilliant.
Yes, I would say it's a really startling imagery.
I was like, we didn't even see any teeth. We had no fangs in this film.
Because it's come back to the old folklore of vampires.
Oh, here we go.
Look, blame Eggers for his attention to historical detail.
God.
It's come back to the old sort of origins of the vampire myth, not the Hollywoodized. Or again, this is Eggers being an historical.
Don't say Hollywoodized. It's the Stoker has fangs.
Yes, I know, but it's become more popularized.
So it's not Hollywoodized.
It's more popularized. All right, well, let's say the modern version of the vampire. The modern fictional version of the vampire, as opposed to the more historical legend of the vampire and the myths surrounding apparent real vampires that people would have actually believed back in these times.
Give me Morpheus anytime. Morbius. I want Morbius. I'll take Morbius right now.
What about Leslie Nielsen? Dead and loving it?
Yeah, I'll take Leslie Nielsen. Dead and loving it. No problem. No problem. I take that in a heartbeat over this piece of crap.
I enjoyed a lot of it, but I do have issues with it, and I don't think it's Eggers' best film.
Yeah. He's off my radar now. I'm done.
No.
Until he gets away from his little goth and starts, expanding his horizons and giving us something different.
Apparently he wants to make a Western next.
Oh, dear fucking God.
One of his favourite films is one of your favourite films, Tombstone.
Oh my God, he's going to destroy Tombstone.
No, I don't know. I said he would like to. I know he has expressed interest in making a Western.
I do something different, pal. He's a talented man, but not my cup of tea. He's off my radar. I don't care anymore. So
there you go, Robert.
That's it. Yeah, they're all going to be like, God damn it, I disappointed Ciaran. Fucking hell. I just, why can't reviewers just be honest? And start of sucking on the tit on the man, pardon the pun, because there's a lot of tit sucking, chest sucking here. Can they kind of film? Because people who review these films just be honest with themselves and go, you know what? It's a copy and paste. There's really nothing new here, and I'm shocked that he's done this. Why can't people just be honest?
Kieran, the thing is, maybe they are, because each to their own. Not everyone's going to agree with you.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think there's people who this is what they expect from Eggers, so they're just going to go with it. They're kind of blinded by what he's done in the past without really looking at the source material he's touching, and just not going, it's not there for me. Something's not right here. Instead of just doing that, but no, they just got to suck on the teat and go, oh, give me more Eggers. And that's not the way it should be done. The man needs to be punched in the gut.
Right?
No, the true fans. No, true fans need to be punched. He needs to be punched in the gut. I'm not saying literally. I'm talking. You know what I mean? Know. Because he needs to be knocked down a peg and going. Great, he got his biggest hit is this movie. People are going to be sucking on it left and right, and he's like, yeah, now he's going to do more of this shit. He needs to be brought down a peg, and the people who so-called fans need to really go. You know what? this wasn't your best work, pal. Do something different. Because he's just going to keep, this next one is going to be a disaster. I guarantee you.
So basically, what you're saying is they need to be more like me, in my view that I've given?
No,
Yes.
no, you're sucking on the teeth. You're
I'm
sucking
not
on his
sucking
teeth pretty good.
No, I'm being honest.
I promise I'm not sucking on the teeth.
I may have at one point a big, bushy moustache, but it ain't no teeth sucking from me.
I know what. On that note, let's just end this, please. Now, guys, to each their own. This is all banter and good fun. And if you like it, kudos. I'm glad you got something out of it. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm glad it did well because I wanted to see more horror films. I wanted to see independent do well. So if you assholes want to pay more money to see this shit, that's fine. As long as it greenlits better movies, fine. Go for it. But at the end of the day, I promise you, if you've seen this once and you go, oh my God, this is brilliant, but you're sitting at home one night and you're watching it again on video on demand, which is out today, I believe. If you watch it on video on demand and you're at home, you're going to go, well, maybe I, kind of like what you said, I was lost. I was all excited to go see Eggers' Nosferatu. But then once the dust settles and you watch this again, I promise you, you'll understand what I was saying.
But it does look gorgeous on the screen. But anyway, yeah.
That's all we got. We're going to wrap this up, and it's time to have some more fun, guys. That's right. Retrospective time. And we're coming hard with the Chuckies. I shouldn't have said it that way, by the way. That sounded... I came out wrong. It's Chuckies. It's Chuckies time. It's Child's Play Retrospective. We'll be talking Child's Play 1 and 2, Child's Play 3 and 4. I think there's 5 and 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the reboot. And then we'll talk a little bit about the TV show. Kind of like what we did with Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Yes.
It'll be a 2-in-1 special. So the first one will feature Child's Play 1 and 2. And that is up next. That's all I have for you guys. If you want to reach out to us, give us a shout at citizenframe_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. The new website should be up next week. We're just looking at it and seeing how it's developing. Hopefully we'll have that up soon for you. That's all I've got.
Can I just say one last thing before we sign off?
Oh, dear God.
It's just one word.
Oh, dear God.
Providence. The phrase continually used in Nosferatu. Providence.
I wish, you know what word they should have used?
What?
Or at least the director?
What?
Cut. That's it. That's all I have to say. All right. Guys, take care of yourselves.